Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Nanette. I'm a 60-year-old woman in Northeast Florida, rapidly approaching retirement. Quite honestly, a little faster than I anticipated. 1 week before my 61st birthday, I was notified that my job is being eliminated and I would be laid off this year. So originally my last day was going to be March 14th, but I was given a little stay of execution and I'll be working until mid-October at this point. There is a special project that I'll be extended for. So that has shaken up my budget just a little bit. In the meantime, I have been meaning to throw my hat in the ring and join the rest of the YNAB Budget With Me community on YouTube. You've seen me in the comments, perhaps, and I want to join the party and share my budget with you. And this is, for me, an interesting one. Because of the layoff, I am running an experiment. I am going to be using my emergency funds, hopefully for the duration of my employment, and tucking away all of my income through pre-tax deductions, after-tax deductions, all the deductions, all the contributions that I possibly can make, and possibly stocking up sinking funds and whatnot. I'm really only going to look out, though, for 2 to 3 months at the onset. I don't have all the guardrails in place for this particular experiment, but one thing I do know is I'm going to be budgeting with $5,000 a month, which is a very generous amount to consider as a retirement income, considering the fact that my current retirement funds won't support that income. But it's a place from which to start. So let's see if we can actually get started on this budget. The first thing I want to do is clear the deck, if you will. So I'm actually going to go back into January 1st, go back into, not January 1st the day, but go back into January and move some money around in the sinking funds. The first thing that I want to do is there's this, one of my overspent categories in February is this investments. I have a recurring transaction twice a month, $1,000 investment going into my brokerage account that is tied to paychecks. And I haven't really figured out exactly how I'm going to care for this, but I do know that I am going to clear the decks via moving things around in the sinking funds in the month of January, just so that I'm keeping some of that activity out of February, because February is where the experiment starts. So let's go into the sinking funds, and I am going to take $1,000 out of furniture and move that directly into cover that. Where is it? This guy here. That should cover the overspending. Puts me right where I want to be. Very good. What else do I want to do? I'm only at $30,000 on the income replacement, and I want to bring that up to $35,000 at least to get us started. And I want to level out the car payment, the car replacement category, to a full. Do I want 750 in here? Yeah, I wanted to raise it up to an even 20,000. So let's take this 1,900 and move it to income replacement. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but we'll get it all done. So I want to bring this up. Where am I going to take the rest of this money from? I do not want to touch car maintenance. Don't want to touch clothing. Don't want to touch. I thought I had this figured out before. So where am I going to take that money from? I don't really. I wonder if I had taken it from the car replacement group. Don't really want to take it out of, sorry, I am a little bit all over the place. Why don't I don't think I have, oh, I do have money in overfunded. Okay, so what is overfunded? As I said, I don't want to touch either of these sinking funds, not car replacement or insurance deductibles. I don't know if I said that out loud, but I was thinking it really loudly. Hopefully you heard me. That's it. That is it. So let's go back in here, come back into the sinking funds and take one more pass through. No, don't want to touch any of that at the moment. Perhaps we can't get there from here. And maybe we're just going to bring this back down to, yeah, I definitely don't want to move 3,000 of anything anywhere. Oh, I know exactly where that money can come from. All right. Sorry for waffling around here. Let me clear everything. I want to go to all. It is reacting slowly to me because it's an old budget. I have been budgeting in YNAB for almost 10 years now, and all of my data is in this budget. I've never done a fresh start. So this money right here, this is money from January that I usually put into the next month. I bounce into the following month and then put it in this holding category, last month's net income. As I said, I want to clear the deck, so I'm taking this money out and moving back into January to move that, to reassign that money. So now we have 2521. Now we can up that sinking fund the way that we wanted to. If I can get everything to open the way I want it to. Okay, so we are going to add another, what would it be, 3,100 in here? Oh, she can math. Very good. What has happened here? We had more than enough. Let me go backwards. 1. This happens every now and again. Okay, so we have 2521. Oh, okay. We don't have 3,100. All right, so let's zero this out. I'm going to make YNAB do all the math for me. So I'm going to add 4,400 in here, and then I'm going to take the 2,142 and tuck that into insurance deductibles. And now I'm still short 600. Maybe I will take the 600 out of the insurance deductibles and get this up to the 35,000 that I want it to be at. I certainly have gone around the bend a time or two. Yeah, that's the move that I am going to make. That is going to make me the happiest moving into my experimental phase. That took way longer than it should have. And I don't like that thing yellowing at me. So what can we do about it? Let's go look at overfunded again. And investments are high. And I don't want to take money out of any of these. Nope, nope, nope. So we're going to live with that thing yellowing at me. Doesn't matter. January's in the past anyway. Okay. So now we have $3.14. This is cash. Words. This is cash back. And I don't want cash back to be part of the February experiment, so I am going to go ahead into the future and put that into how, that's interesting. I think this is going to be ×2. That clears that money out. We'll go back into March. Both of those $3.14 were cash back that had been earned in the month of February. It's just coincidental that I'd already put another $3.14 in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is once again collapse all the categories, come down to the sinking funds, and we're going to take 5,000 out of The income replacement category group, it will move itself into ready to assign, and now we are ready to go through the February budget and see how far 5,000 is going to take us. Now, I do want to say 5,000 is actually a lot more than some people are budgeting with on a monthly basis. So I realize that this is not likely a huge sacrifice in any form or fashion, but it does at least feel to be a reduction in income based on what I've been making in my corporate job. And my retirement income will likely be, well, potentially would be a little bit less than that, even when I supplement with Social Security, because I had to restart my retirement savings in my mid 40s. That's a story for another time, but the bottom line is I had wiped out my retirement accounts and restarted just before, I don't remember exactly. It was, I'm going to say that it was 2015. So how old would I have been? 50? I guess maybe I was even in my 50s when I restarted. So it's hard to build up enough wealth in that time frame to support the lifestyle that I have become accustomed to. Now, I'm not a particularly spendy person. My house is paid for, my car is paid for. As you saw back in the sinking funds, I have more than enough in my car replacement category between the value of my car and this 20,000 to get a very nice vehicle when it's time to replace my vehicle, which is no time soon. It'll certainly, probably not for another 5 years. And that money I probably am going to move off the budget and into my brokerage account at some point, unless I decide that I'm going to continue to live off of the emergency savings and I just move it into the emergency savings. But all of that is a story for another time. Let's get on with the budgeting for this month. Sorry. I can get a little talkative, obviously. And this transition, this end of my employment has gotten me shaken up a bit. Now that I've started this experiment, I'm a little less apprehensive than I was. But let's just dive in and see where it takes us. The first thing I always do is cover all of the overspending. We already covered the one for the investment account, and then the rest of these, we've got groceries, canteen funds. Actually, this is prepaid phone access for my son. He is institutionalized, again, a story for another time. But I support him to the tune of, well, if we look at the budget, what is it going to ask us for? I guess we'll go one category at a time instead of all of them at once. So for groceries, it looks like we need to assign another $473.96. I have a generous budget of $550 and don't plan to reduce that while I am employed or during this experiment. So we'll cover that one. My son is a $500 monthly expense, and we've covered that one. The dining out category group, another very generous $450. I do plan to reduce this one, but not right now. Back in the day, I used to cook every single one of my meals. I have some food restrictions that make dining out challenging to begin with, but I've recently found some restaurants that cater to my needs pretty well. So the pendulum swung quite wide to the other side, and I have been enjoying having other people cook for me and dining out. So I'm not going to curtail that quite yet, but I am expecting that this experiment, as I move forward through it, may lead me down that road. So as far as my Someday Over the Rainbow category group, this is all of my various retirement investment vehicles. They will be covered through payroll contributions primarily, as far as covering the recurring transactions that I have for the brokerage account for $2,000 a month. I may actually use the car replacement category for now. Go ahead and just, I have this as a $24,000 goal for the year. So I'm only shy by $1,000 of meeting that goal by using the car replacement fund. And if I were to do that, I would replenish the car replacement fund when I get my severance after the employment ends. So that is something I'm thinking about, but I'm not going to make that decision today. As far as how I budget, I generally go in order of these category groups, and I just go one at a time. Because this is the first budget with me I've ever done, I'll probably walk through, let me go through these as quickly as I can, but sundries is just anything I need around the house that is not clearly a grocery item. I'm not sure that I need $75 this month. Oh, and it's got, actually, I think I have some Amazon subscriptions. It's actually asking for $80.33. If I went over to the account tab and showed you, there's probably some pending transactions that total up to this $80.33. I'm still only going to budget for the 75 and leave that yellowing at me, because I think I'm going to cancel at least one, if not two or three of those subscription items that are coming through. And I've got a couple of days left to do that. Supplements, I don't really need anything. Gas, I'm going to cover the $50 that it's asking for. Personal care, I'm going to go ahead and cover all of that. This is going to let me have a haircut every 3 weeks, have very short hair that grows very fast, and a massage every 4 weeks. Medical out-of-pocket, I do want to cover that to make sure that I can do all the chiro that I desire to do, especially the adjustment after the massage I've got booked. Don't need anything for the cat this month. That is fully funded. Subscriptions, I like to collapse those and do things one at a time. I have the normal, typical subscriptions. When I look at this, I see I have too many streaming services. There's no way that I'm really using all of them to their full potential. I just canceled the New York Times audio, so I will not be funding that one this month. I would probably consider getting rid of, I'm watching some stuff on Apple TV right now, so we'll keep that. Amazon Prime is tied to subscriptions and whatnot. I have not really thought through what it would take to get rid of that one. Hulu I'm sharing with others, so because of that, I'm not going to get rid of that one right now. Music streaming, definitely don't want to get rid of. That is, I don't think that's funded high enough at $5.54, but I'll tackle that at another time. And then Netflix. Netflix is probably the one that I don't want to cancel it at the moment, but certainly should be considering that. So I'm going to go ahead and cover all of these categories and move on into my favorite category group, do good in the world. Let's double check. Yes, I did reduce gifts down to $1,000 for the entire year instead of $1,200. Christmas came down from $1,500 to $1,000. Let's cover those. Pay Papa Back. This covers, it's already funded a month ahead. So just for giggles, I am going to, does it realize, let me look at this target. Does it realize, so I have this paired with a loan. Nope, don't want it paired with a loan. It used to be paired with a loan and it is no longer. So how do I want to do this? Actually, I'm just going to cover it and move on and figure out how to unpair that later. Tax deductible donations is, I funded this at the very beginning of the year, and I will be making these contributions through work so that I get matching funds. And I'll probably, I guess I'm not in a hurry to do this anymore. I want to make sure that I'm using the matching funds at work, and I'd like to do them on days when the organizations that I'm donating to also have somebody else matching those funds. So we'll see what I can do to get that all processed, but there's no more contributing to that throughout this year. Same thing with Share the Wealth. I deleted the target that went with this, and I instead will just enjoy paying this category down throughout the year. This was created in order to encourage me to take people out to lunch, treat them, do nice things for people, and enjoy all of that. So it's another really good reason for me to consider reducing the dining out category, where I tend to spend only on myself, and use the share the wealth category, and use it to encourage myself to create more community around me. Number 2 funds we already covered a little earlier in this session, and that covers canteen for my son, as well as ordering books, covering phone account, making sure that he has money to use his tablet and whatnot and stay connected with the outside world. And last but not least, in this category group is not my money. I support another person who is institutionalized, and this money is not my own. That's why it's called Not My Money. I am given the funds to provide all of the financial support. It's a story for another day. We'll just leave it at that. Business operations, we have local business taxes, MS Office, iCloud storage. Not going to cover my oldest son's cell phone because he covers that. So if there's any reimbursement, I believe he's already a little bit ahead here. So this $4.12, it'll come out in the wash. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Internet for 51, cell phone is a little higher than I'd like, but I was not willing or able to make the switch to Mint Mobile. There's 3 of us on the account, and it's just a little bit complicated. I'm not going to make that move probably until next year. Insurance, I might be able to get rid of the insurance on the phone. Then we have office supplies. I'm not going to add anything more to unplanned or professional fees because I'm probably going to either do my own taxes this year or potentially make a connection with the AARP because I understand there's free tax prep through AARP. So we'll see if that is true or not, and if it's something that I can use. Sinking funds, I think we have, let's see, is there anything in here that's asking for more money? Lots of more money. We will not add to the car replacement category, not adding to furniture and appliances. Are we going to add to insurance deductibles? Let's not add any sinking funds until we get through the rest of the budget. So in here we have power and water, car insurance, home insurance, property taxes, and solid waste and stormwater. As I mentioned earlier, I believe I mentioned earlier, maybe I didn't. I paid off the house back in, not last year, but the year before, so 2023. So all of these I now pay myself. Got to keep all of those sinking funds on track for the entire year to make sure that in May and I think November, those bills can get paid without question. And boy, does that feel good to have those guys funded. As far as my Play Harder category group, fitness is asking for only the 80. Is that going to take us to where we need to be? Yes, it is. I have a personal trainer and a studio fee that is coming out of this fitness category group. That is one of the sacrifices I fear I will need to make, and I really, really don't want to because my health is so important to me. So I'm going to do whatever I can to keep that one going. Gardening keeps my soul happy. We've already covered the Feed Me category. And then Fun and Adventures, it's, what is it asking for, 100? Oh, I don't spend, well, I used to not spend much out of this category group. I'm going to cover this because I think it's important to plan for fun, to make sure that I can generously cover fun, and that is not a huge amount of money. And I still have $1,200 left, so maybe this isn't going to be as bad as I think. As far as getting help, I'm not so convinced that the monthly garden service that I have been using is everything. So I'm not going to fund that one this month. Let's see where we land. I do want the helping hands. This includes a buddy of mine who comes and helps with things around the house when my two hands are the strength of my back are not quite enough. Whole Foods delivery is important to me because I work full time. I work remotely, but I work full time, and it can be demanding to get everything handled. And I do have somebody who mows and blows the lawn. As far as that monthly garden service goes, I have raised beds in the front and back that I grow vegetables in, and I have a permaculture food forest. It's all a little bit more than I can handle and do my full-time job. So I may continue investing in that monthly garden service because it is helpful, but it is one of the things that I question the most. Nothing needs to be covered out of payroll nonsense because that is directly tied to payroll. So as my paychecks process through during this experiment period, they'll just go through all of that. I don't need to cover anything in credit card payments. That's all. I don't spend on my credit cards with money that has not already been budgeted. So my payments are always handled because YNAB does such a good job of that. So I've got $728 left. What is underfunded? We're not talking about investments. Skip that altogether. Sundries and supplements both want extra money, and I'm not going to touch them at the moment. New York Times audio, business operations, all of those were mindful skips that we made. More mindful skips here, but these two category groups, how do I want to handle this? All right, I think I'm going to cover the insurance deductibles because that feels good. Oh, okay, and here's another one. Home maintenance. What does it want? It wants another $1,000 this month. I think it is clear that I will not be able to hit the $12,000 goal using the experimental $5,000 amount. So I am going to experiment with reducing this goal to $9,000. And if I reduce it to $9,000, how much does it want from me right now? It might take it a minute to calculate that because, again, I think I mentioned, oh, look at that, $727.28. I feel good about covering that, and that leaves me with $1.62 that I could put anywhere I want. And I think I will tuck it into, I don't like not putting anything in car maintenance and repairs. That does not feel good. I'm going to go to car replacement, edit this target, and delete it so that that's not yellowing at me. Very committed now to not covering monthly garden service. I want to figure out how I can cover, let me get back to underfunded. Car replacement's still showing up even though I got rid of it. That's annoying, but it'll fix itself in a minute. I'm going to tuck the $1.62. I don't want to put it in car maintenance because it'll annoy me. Oh no. Okay, so it's unhappy with something that I just did. That's okay. When it comes back in, I'll probably need to redo something. But it'll catch up. It'll be fine. Just have to be patient. Okay, so we're going to go back in. That is everything I want it to be. It just still has a target. So let's delete the target. And then let's collapse that category group. Let's click underfunded again. And is it still, car replacement's still showing up, but that is what it is. Okay, so do we have anything overfunded? Gifts is overfunded by how much? Well, we're just going to take $50 out of gifts and move that to the car maintenance. And then if we go back to underfunded, we now see insurance deductibles. Didn't we put money into insurance deductibles? Maybe I must not have. I think I started to and then decided to move on. So let's blow this out so I can see everything. I don't care about the investments. That's not part of the plan right now. Sundries and supplements were mindful decisions, as was New York Times Radio, and everything under business operations. Insurance deductibles was the sacrifice for this particular experiment, and I am more than happy to put $1.62 right there. Now we have budgeted out all of our money. Yes, we are underfunded, but that is part of the point of this experiment, is to see where the sacrifices are. Now, having underfunded this particular category group, I don't know how huge of a risk that is. Let me see if I have any clever notes in here. So I have my home deductible, my home insurance deductible is $3,094. Hurricane is $6,188. So there's the risk if I get hit by a hurricane. But my experience with hurricanes, I live in a fairly high and dry place in Northeast Florida that is far enough inland. I don't have any trees that are threatening the house. Yeah, I don't feel that that's the hugest risk, and I can always shuffle money from other sinking funds if need be. $250 for my car insurance deductible. My health insurance deductible does not look right. It might be, though. I think my card is right here underneath me. That is right. $1,650 in network. $3,300 out of network, $5,000 out of pocket in network, and then $10,000 out of network, out of pocket. So, all right, there's a little bit of risk there, but it's known risk, and I think that it is all manageable, and I can mitigate it with, well, I certainly can mitigate it with the car replacement fund. So I am going to call this a very successful first pass at my experiment of using emergency funds for the remainder of my employment. Now, let's count the months here. We've got February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and part of October. So we're just going to count the 8 months that go through the month of September. I would need a total of $40,000 to do that, and I only had $35,000 in there. So I probably will have to take $5,000 out of the car replacement fund in order to run the entire experiment. So let's see what happens. That concludes this budgeting session. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. I believe this is going to be my first YouTube video that I actually publish. I've done a whole bunch of experimental ones or practice ones, and this is the one that I think, yeah, let's make it official and do this thing. To that end, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really appreciate the time you've taken to spend with me. Please do like and subscribe. I would very much appreciate it if you give me any kind of constructive criticism in the comments, especially sound quality. I am just recording this on my iMac and using AirPods. So I'm real curious to see if the sound quality is sufficient or if this is a total disaster. Either way, I hope to get your feedback, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again for watching.